Colourful.
Sonia Polian on Colourful Radio.
Welcome back. Now, this is the third segment, the final furlong, and as always, it is our yummy food hour. And yes, we do have a special guest in the studio this morning. And, this morning I was banging on about Claudia. Well, Claudia has arrived with a big bag, and she's sitting there like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Yeah, she'll be knocking this out and she'll be off like a bullet, and afterwards she'll be like, oh my gosh, that was fantastic, trying to give me some excuse about because she's Italian and so English is her second language, so she's like, if I can't remember any words, please forgive me. And I'm like, do you dream in English or do you dream in Italian? And if you know about this kind of thing, people who's when English is their second language, they still dream in their own mother tongue, right? But when they start to dream in English, that means they've integrated into society. So there's no getting away. Anyway, enough of that. So I've got Claudia Parvin from North London in the house, another person from North London. Her business is called Claudia's Kitchen. Now, we British, we say Claudia, all right, but she pronounced it Claudia, so we're going to say Claudia. So, Claudia, welcome to Colourful Radio.
Thank you, Sonia. Hi, everyone.
And how are you this morning?
Just a little bit nervous. My first time on the radio, but other than that, pretty good. Very wet in London, so well, what can you do?
Oh my gosh! So look, you're doing a wonderful, wonderful work here. And this morning, I've been telling everybody that you do vegan food, you do nutritional treats, and actually, I've just had some of her nutritional treats. And if anybody who knows me knows, I absolutely love coconut. And what did she bring in for me this morning? She brought in coconut. Do I call them cookies or biscuits?
Biscuits, probably.
Biscuits,
yes.
Okay. All right. And my other favourite is almond. And what did she bring in? Almond biscuits, right, with some chocolate
hazelnut spread.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna enjoy that later on this afternoon. Time was too short for me to eat it all, so I've got some left over for later for Ron. Right, so we're going to talk about vegan food. We're going to talk about her healthy treats that she makes, and also a bit about the paleo diet. There's been a lot of talk about paleo isn't really, really good, and the different benefits that you get from the paleo diet. So if we have enough time, we're going to touch on all that. So Claudia, I want to say thank you for coming to Colourful Radio. Now, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from. I know you said it's Italian, so tell us, what when you were young, when you left school, right, what you aspired to be.
Tricky question. I'm going to disappoint you a little bit because I don't think I had any specific dream when I was at school.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very active, very, all over the place. But I might have considered being a policewoman at some point,
okay.
But not really, no particular dream. And then when I was at university...
what did you study at university?
I studied business administration.
Okay.
I quite liked it, to be honest, but at some point, which is quite funny, at some point I thought I would become an auditor, which when I then...
An auditor?
An auditor, yeah, basically people that review accounts of, companies. So, good job, good salary, but it could be a bit repetitive, I think, depending on the clients that you work with. But then, I don't know, after I took the exam, I was like, no, probably really not my thing. So, I think like many graduates, I ended up in management consulting, which is a fantastic job, but it tends to be a big pool for people who want to achieve a lot, but they're not really sure exactly where they want to be, because it's a job that gives you so many different opportunities to work in different industries and with different clients, and I've done that for quite a few years actually, almost 8 years.
8 years.
And
in Italy or over here?
So I studied in Italy, but then I moved to London.
So when you done your auditor's job, when you done your management, did you do that here?
Yeah, I did that here
Okay.
as well. But because it's very international job, you tend to travel a lot as well. So
that's nice.
I've traveled a lot in Europe. I've been to the States. Again, depending on the type of project and the type of clients that you work with.
Yeah.
It's very challenging, but it's very rewarding as well, which
Yeah.
is probably what kept me going for so many years.
So what made you decide, well, how did you get into cooking?
Nice question.
Yeah, how did you get into
right.
cooking?
So, well, being Italian, I think, you know, pretty much everyone can cook in Italy. Food is great, let's be honest. So, my mom is a great cook. My grandmother is a great cook. It's a bit of a family thing.
Yeah.
But the truth about me is that I have a really, really big sweet tooth.
Okay.
Like really bad. I mean, the amount of cakes that I used to eat was
Really?
just
But
outrageous.
look at you, you're stick thin.
Well, that's where Claudia's Kitchen comes into play because when I moved to London, I it's a very different lifestyle from the one you have in Italy. I sort of decided to be in the best shape of my life, which is quite an ambitious dream, but I was quite struggling with the sort of fitness side of myself and the sweet tooth because it's difficult to balance the two. So I thought, wouldn't it be amazing if I could come up with a cake that I can eat every day without feeling guilty about it and still be fit and healthy? So I started experimenting and reading a lot about different ingredients, healthy stuff, and obviously the first attempts were not particularly nice.
Well, start somewhere.
Exactly. So
If you don't have no failures, you won't know where you went wrong. so-
absolutely right. I mean, it's my motto basically. Fail. You have to fail so many times before you come up with something
Absolutely.
successful. So. And to be honest, at some point, these things started to be really appealing and really good to the point that people wouldn't even realize that there wasn't sugar or bad ingredients in them. So that's when I decided to, sell them.
Yeah. So did you do like a lot of research into these different cakes first? How you could like replace the amount of sugar that you put in there? Or do you just, was it just like a trial and error?
A bit of both. I've done a lot of technical research in terms of the benefits of the ingredients. So I've actually recently published an article on, optimum protein intake. That's a product of the research that I've done over the years. And basically I've learned, why some ingredients are good and why some are not so good for you.
Okay.
In terms of combining them to obtain, good texture and good flavor, that's a bit more of a trial. And, this is a bit too sweet, this is a bit too, I don't know, don't like the texture and a lot of attempts. And I'm very, very extremely picky. So,
That's good.
Until I got what I thought was really perfect. And, loads of people tested them. I mean, you can ask my friends. They had infinite tests of cakes, biscuits, and all sorts of things.
Okay, we're going to take this short music break. And when we come back, I want to know what the first thing was that you made and the ingredients that you put in there. Even if it didn't go right, I want to know what it was. So we're going to take this short music break and we'll be back. So stay tuned in to Colourful Radio.
Sonia Polian on Colourful Radio.
It's Ava Brown here, and you are tuning to Colourful Life with Sonia Polian on Colourful Radio.
Welcome back. Now, I'm in the studio here this afternoon talking to Claudia Parvain. Claudia is originally from Italy. She's now here in the UK. Her business is called Claudia's Kitchen, right? And she makes healthy treats, and I can say that they taste delicious. Okay, healthy treats, and even the chocolate. I'm going to ask you about that chocolate in a minute. Chocolate and hazelnut spread. I want to know how healthy that is. All right. So she makes healthy treats, and we're going to be talking about vegan food and paleo. So please do stay tuned in. Now, just before the music break, I was saying Claudia's going to tell us about one of the first things she made and the alternative ingredients that she made. So, for example, if she was using sugar, what did she use to replace that sugar? Because if you see her, right, she's proper stick thin. If she's somebody who used to eat cakes, you'll never believe it because my girl's looking fine. So, Claudia, tell us, what's one of the first things that you made? One of the first treats?
What I haven't mentioned is that in most of my products, I add extra protein, and we can talk about protein in depth. But basically, I believe that the modern diet is lacking in protein. So my one of the reasons why my products don't make you gain weight is because they're high in protein, which is great for developing muscle, but also to maintain weight. So basically, it's a win-win. So the problem with protein is that it tastes absolutely awful.
Really?
On its own, it's absolutely I mean, if you think about protein food like turkey, right? Turkey on its own isn't very tasty, is it? We normally flavor it with some herbs and sauces and things. So one, it's not very tasty, and two, it's not very easy to cook with. So that's why, whilst I think everyone could easily make a normal cake, to make a protein cake takes so much more effort because the result is dramatically different according to what type of protein you use and how much you actually use. So one of my first disasters in the kitchen was with whey protein, which is basically derived from milk. It's pure cow milk protein, and trying to make some biscuits out of it without using any flour or anything else. And the result was absolutely disgusting. They were almost not edible.
Well, that sounds really good, Claudia.
So I promise they taste much better now. But
that's trial and error. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
So you didn't give up. You continued to make them until you perfected them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that one of these biscuits that I've got today?
Well, not the exact flavor, but exactly. It's all about balancing ingredients, which is the same with any recipe, but especially when you work with protein. So, whey protein can give a terrible, terrible texture to anything. And as I said, the flavor is not nice, so you have to know exactly how much other ingredients to put in. And then I suppose another one of my mistakes.
Sorry, what was it you were making? A biscuit or a cake?
A biscuit. With whey, it was. So
you like biscuits then, do you?
I love biscuits,
Okay.
I mean, I love anything sweet, I told you. And I was a big sugar addict. And I dramatically reduced it. Actually, practically almost don't eat any sugar now.
Do you drink tea or coffee?
I do both, I do.
Do you have sugar in there?
No.
Wow, look at you.
I used to have sugar in every cup, and I now drink black coffee with no sugar, unless I'm in Italy. And in Italy I do have some raw cane sugar, but in here, no, never. I have a bit of milk, and if you don't want to have milk, you can have coconut milk, almond milk. There's so many different options. That's the great thing about the final, modern revolution about food, that you can have so many different healthy options, and you don't have to always stick to the same thing over and over and again.
So tell me, Claudia's Kitchen, right? Do you actually have a shop?
So it's, for the moment, no. It's just an online shop.
Okay.
So what you do is you go on the website, place your order, and it's made to order, so it gets delivered to you
I see.
2 days after you made the order. I have been to different events, fitness events, food fairs, and so they have been on sale on those occasions. But for now, is only online. I won't anticipate anything, but it will soon be available into some specific shops.
Okay.
But
right.
I don't want to reveal too much
Oh,
too soon.
That's fine. Okay, so tell us about your nutritional treats that you make. So you've made the coconut ones and you made the almond ones. What else is in your range?
So at the moment I've got peanut butter cheesecake, which is, I'd say, probably one of the very most popular.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, if you're into peanuts, that is, because some people
I'm into
hate
peanut butter
peanuts, so.
spread. I've never heard of peanut butter cheesecake.
Yeah.
So did you make that recipe yourself, or did you get that from somebody else?
No. Everything is, I made from scratch.
Yeah.
So I know what I do is I get inspired by normal recipes,
Yeah.
for example. You know, like coconut biscuit is not very original, is it? But, you know, I just try to make it healthy and, you know, nutritious and high in protein and good fats and very healthy, basically.
Right. So tell us about your energy range that you have, the Energy Punch range.
Energy Punch. So Energy Punch basically means that it's slightly higher in carbohydrates compared to the other lines. So we've got banana and walnut muffins and something called Oats Fix, which is basically similar to a flapjack. That's what I got my inspiration from. But obviously it's nothing like a flapjack because it doesn't have any butter, it doesn't have any sugar, and it's completely healthy and really, really good for you.
Right, so what's the ingredients you put in there? Because flapjacks have a lot of honey as well, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. So I don't... I mean, I use honey sometimes, but I tend to use agave most of the time.
So you tend to use...
Agave.
Explain to us what that is.
It's basically a natural sweetener that comes from a tree.
Okay.
And it's great because it's got a much lower glycemic index compared to like regular sugar.
How do you spell it?
AGAVE.
Oh, agave. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So, you know, it's very sweet. So, you know, that's why loads of people tried that cake. They were like, oh, I can't believe there's no sugar in here. It's so sweet. Yeah. But, you know, that's the beauty of natural products that sometimes we don't realize that there's enough sweetness in them. Like if you eat a banana or an apple, are they not sweet enough?
Yes.
Yeah, they are. So you don't need to add sugar most of the times. And here's another trick for you if you're baking a cake. You want to still use, you know, classic ingredients. Never use the amount of sugar that the recipe calls for. I mean, it's personally I find it way too sweet, but it's also you don't need that much. You can always reduce it by like a
half.
Well, maybe 3/4 or you know, even less. And again, if you're used to sugar, then you become addicted to it. So you want things to be really sweet. But if you try to gradually, you know, reduce it, then you'll see that your palate becomes much more used to it, and you're gonna feel so much better that it's I mean it's unbelievable. Sugar is really, really bad for you.
Yeah, listen to her. She's having sugar fixes now. She's changed it. All right, so tell us about the banana-issues. How do you pronounce that?
Bananicious. Bananicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a sort of a play around between banana and delicious, so it just came up as bananicious. Which
okay. So what's that made of?
Well, banana and walnuts are the main ingredients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's got a lot of other good things, like, for example, organic buckwheat. I love organic stuff, and as much as possible, I try to, you know, buy organic produce for most things. Some things, they're not particularly worth it, but this is one that I think is particularly good to get organic, and it's completely gluten-free. Yeah. So for people who, you know, are gluten intolerant, and nowadays there's so many, or even celiac, buckwheat is a great alternative.
Okay. Buckwheat.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what about the let me see. What other products do you have on your menu?
So that's the Energy Punch line. Then we've got the Muscle Builder line, which is called Muscle Builder because it's the highest in protein. Okay. So, for example, one peanut butter cheesecake, if I'm not wrong, is about 15 grams of protein, which is basically almost the equivalent of a protein shake for whoever knows what a protein shake is, and you know.
15 grams of protein. Yeah. So what is supposed to be our daily intake of protein?
That's a really, really good question. And there is not a definite answer to that.
Cool.
So what I can tell you, because I've researched the topic a lot, is the RDA, the recommended daily intake, basically, of 0.8 per kilogram is too low. So from the research that I've made, the sort of the ideal amount appears to range between 1.2 and 2.5 grams per kilogram. So that sounds very complicated, but it doesn't have to be. For the average person that's, you know, moderately active, you know, that's not a super professional athlete, I would recommend having protein with every meal. So, you know, and you can have protein in a lot of food. It doesn't have to be meat, fish, eggs, dairy. There's a lot of protein, for example, in nuts, beans, quinoa is
What kind
great.
of beans?
Well, some beans are better than others. For example, I recently found that I think it's black turtle beans, but they're actually higher in protein than in carbs. So if you always read the nutritional label of the food that you buy, and I'm obsessed with nutritional.
Are you a nutritionist by any chance?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. But I've
studied?
just constantly studied nutrition related topics, and it drives me mad that the big food giant companies they make us believe things that are not true. Like, for example, I actually was tweeting about some nutritional labels that I found in the supermarket yesterday. They what they do now, because it's finally protein as having the treatment that it deserves, and so every company is putting protein on their packaging, but consumers need to be healthy and very, very aware of what the label says. So if you turn around the package and then you start to see modified wheat, glucose syrup, fructose, corn syrup, loads of additives, things that you can't even pronounce, then that's not a good product for you. So just because it says protein on the pack, don't be fooled. Or just because it says healthy or natural, always read the fine print. Very, very important.
So do you cook everything from scratch in your household?
Yes, I tried to. Although I'm in hectic, busy life, sometimes it's just not possible. So what I tend to do is, if I don't have time to cook from scratch, I'll go for options that are not fully processed. Like, for example, I tend to buy soups that are but somebody else made, but they're made with literally just vegetables and herbs, nothing else added. No cream or no milk, preservatives, nothing. So
Italians are big on pasta. Do you eat pasta at all?
So not much, to be honest, purely because pasta, the problem with pasta is that it's a refined grain. So refined grains, as everything refined, is not good for your body. What I tend to eat instead of pasta is whole grain pasta, which is, because it's a whole grain, it's so much better for you. It's got more nutrients, it's got more fiber. Wild rice, black rice, brown rice, these type of grains that are, much more complete from a nutritional profile.
Right, let's take this short music break, and when we come back, you can tell me about black rice, because I've got some black rice and I haven't even cooked it. So this is Christine White and Caught by Love. Back after this track.
On Colourful Radio.
Welcome back. I'm in the studio today and I'm talking to Claudia Parvin from Claudia's Kitchen. And just before the music break, I interjected and I'm like, tell me about black rice. And I've gone clear, of course. But after this black rice, you're going to get back to the muscle builders range, because you've got some lovely stuff there and I want to hear about them. So tell us how to cook black rice, Claudia, or how you cook black rice.
To be honest, the way I cook rice is pretty simple. I just boil it, and some rice takes a little bit longer to cook.
I thought the black rice took a little bit longer.
It does, because normally, as I was saying before, everything that's refined takes very short time to cook, which makes it so convenient because it's already been
processed.
Processed, exactly. So everything that's whole grain takes longer. So sometimes rice can even take up to 40 minutes to cook. But I just boil it in salted water, and that's it, really.
What kind of salt?
Himalayan salt.
Okay.
It's really good, and it's actually so salty that you don't need that much. You need very little, and it's really flavorsome, and it's very good for you.
In the music break, you was telling me about coconut rice. Tell me about the coconut rice.
Yeah, I actually made this last night. It's really simple. So instead of just boiling the rice in water, you mix the water with coconut milk, and you just let it simmer for the 20-30 minutes. And it gets, if you like coconut, it gets this lovely coconut taste. And you can actually add other spices or herbs if you like. For example, I added lime zest at the end of it, and then you mix it in, and it's got this little bit of citrus kick, which is quite nice.
So the coconut milk that you used, did you make that or did you purchase that?
No, I purchased it. I mean,
Is that just
I'd like to be able to make coconut milk, but no.
It's just that is that a special kind for cooking, or just the one that the coconut milk that you use for drink like that? Is it Alpro?
So no. So there's two different types that I use.
Okay.
One is similar to Alpro, but I don't use Alpro as a brand, and it's the one that it's in a carton, and that's the one that you use to drink instead of milk, regular milk, for example. The one for cooking comes in a can or a glass jar sometimes, and it's much more thick. It can be full fat, it can be low fat. There's different versions on the market, but you can tell straight away because as soon as you open it, it's very creamy, and it makes you want to stick your finger into it and just lick. Okay. So that's the one I use for rice.
Because I've always been to restaurants and I have coconut rice, and it always tastes absolutely divine, but I've never known how to make it. I've never even researched it, to
be honest. This way is really simple. I mean, it's foolproof, and it doesn't have any nasties added into it. Whilst when you go to the restaurant, you never really know what they put in your food. So and guess what? Lots of times they put sugar. So what can you do?
See. Right. So before we get back on track, I just want to say that in the music break, I tasted Claudia's chocolate and hazelnut spread, right? And it tastes absolutely divine. It's very, very rich. And it's I thought, because it looks kind of like hard, but it's quite soft actually. So I had it on my coconut biscuit, but it was a little bit strong because you use, what kind of chocolate do you use?
So I use pure cocoa powder.
Yeah.
So just cocoa, nothing else.
Yeah.
Which
and that is the stronger chocolate, isn't it?
That is strong, and it's actually very bitter in taste.
Yeah.
But that's so good for you. It's got so many health benefits, and full of antioxidants, full of vitamin minerals, and not many people know, but cocoa in its purest form is high in protein.
Okay.
So that's great.
Yeah.
The problem with chocolate is that when it's put on the market by the big companies, loads of vegetable oil and sugar are added, so they make it unhealthy. But chocolate in its pure form is very healthy. So that's what I use in my recipes, pure cocoa. And then obviously you have to use other things to make it sweet. Like, for example, that one that you tried has got hazelnuts as well.
Yeah.
And then...
so the hazelnuts, did you actually mash them out yourself? Or?
So at the moment, no, but I'm planning to. I'm actually going to buy myself a Vitamix.
Okay.
So I'll be able to make that.
Welcome to the family.
The problem with that is that you need very good raw material, because obviously everything comes from the raw material. If the raw material is good, if you've got a good ingredient, the end product is going to be it's going to be really good. It's like with pistachio, for example. When you have pistachio ice cream in Italy, it tastes amazing because it's real pistachio. Yeah. Very often in places you taste ice cream that's nothing like it because it's not real pistachios or it's a low quality one. So that's a really important thing when you're making recipes.
All right, so let's finish off this muscle builders range. All right, so you've got peanut butter wonder.
So that's the peanut butter cheesecake I was telling you about.
So when you first said it to me, it sounded like it was in a big dish and you have to slice it up, but it's kind of like little biscuits.
They actually do come in handy, snack sizes. Because the idea is that you can take them with you everywhere you go. When you fancy a cake, a biscuit, when you want a snack before going to the gym, after going to the gym, wherever you go. Okay. I have made them in bigger sizes, like birthday cakes. But the idea of Claudia's Kitchen when he was born was to make cake readily available to everyone.
And you see the
handy
butter,
sizes.
You see the butter, the peanut butter on top, right?
Yep.
Do you make that yourself?
So it's not just peanut butter. That's a cream. It's like a cheesecake, right? So it's got milk. It's got protein, peanut butter,
biscuity bottom.
Exactly. So crunchy base and creamy top. Which is a mixture of milk, protein, peanut butter. And that's the main ingredients. A bit of egg, bit of egg, I think. Yes.
Okay. All right. So tell us what you have on your. What's this creamy wonder?
Creamy wonder is from long-standing love for Sicily and ricotta. So it's basically it looks like an Oreo biscuit if you look at it, but it's much softer in texture. So it's a chocolate almond biscuit, and it's filled with ricotta and crunchy cocoa nibs.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, actually, it's one of my favorite.
Okay. So what I was going to say now. So tell me about the vegan menu that you have, because you do cater for vegans.
Yeah. So at the moment, on the website, there's only 2 products that are vegan friendly. So the Oats Fix and the Almond Crunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Having said that, I've got a bigger range of vegan products, which I have come up with over the years, and I have made for some events, or when I knew that there were a lot of vegan customers. So, and I can make a lot of vegan things, because the problem with vegan is that it's so common nowadays to have vegan people, but it's not easy to bake vegan in a way that's also healthy. There's a misconception that vegan equals healthy. It's fake. It's not true. If you look at what people put into vegan products, most of the times it's not healthy at all.
Really?
They use a lot of margarine, hydrogenated oils, and things that are really not vegan. So it took me a lot of time actually to come up with things that were very pure and very healthy. So I recently prepared a sort of a chocolate muffin, which literally had like 5 ingredients, very simple, very light, and it was actually great for kids as well. I brought it to a kids event, and because it was also nuts free. I'm a big advocate of nuts, but I know that kids of like allergies. Young kids, like I think it's from 1 to 3 years old, that they should not eat nuts. So I made them specifically because they were nuts free, and they were actually pretty nice and very extremely low in calories as well.
All right, so tell us about the paleo. Time's running out. Tell us about paleo diet. Not a lot of people know about this. Some people say yes, it's really good for you, and other people say nah, it's rubbish.
So paleo, basically what it means is it tries to give you a diet that supposedly the Paleolithical people used to eat, so before the advent of agriculture. So that is basically just meat, fish, eggs, fruit, vegetables, nuts and seeds.
But I thought they ate meat as well, didn't they? Eat chicken?
Meat, meat, yes, but no dairy, no grains, nothing processed, not even coffee, for example. Absolutely no sugar, just basically think about if you were early human, what would you be able to eat? You'd be able to hunt, so meat and fish is fine. Catch fruit and vegetables from the trees, nuts and seeds, but like for example, potatoes are a no, because potatoes are something that the agricultural world brought in. And the theory behind this is that that's the healthy way of eating, because the agriculture brought a lot of illnesses into our world. So that's the theory behind it. Me personally, I like to eat everything in moderation. I think that a complete diet is made of a lot of different foods, and very important in moderation. So for example, grains, I eat all grains. I limit the quantity, but I eat them. Potatoes, they're been demonized, but they're not. They've got a lot of good nutrients. Of course, if you eat chips in the pub, that's probably not the healthiest choice, but sweet potatoes are great. Even dairy. I mean, if you opt for organic Greek yogurt, for example, that's that's really good for you, I think. But again, I'm not an advocate of any specific diet, as long as it's not processed, sugar free, and everything in moderation. I think it's good for you.
Okay. All right, so I want to say thank you very much, because we've come to the end of our time here together. Okay, so that was Claudia from Claudia's Kitchen. And if anybody wants to get in contact with you, how do they? Tell them what your website is, your email address.
So the website is www.claudia.kitchen.co.uk. Email address. You can use my personal email address. That's claudia@claudiaskitchen.co.uk.
And tell them how you spell Claudia.
Claudia.
Yes, yeah. So we say Claudia.
And remember, there's a dash in between Claudia's and Kitchen on the website. And then, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much, Claudia. All right. So that's it for me today. So at 1:00.